Hi all, welcome to the 21st edition of Professional Visa and Education Services News Update. My name is Janish, I'm the Registered Migration Agent in Australia and also Director of Professional Visa and Education Services. Now today I'm going to cover two fantastic topics, or I should say two of the hottest topics that we have heard in the last couple of weeks. First one is the general skill migration in Tasmania, and the second one is 5 years long parents visa, especially the latest news that came out for 5 years temporary long stay parents visa. I'm going to cover that off as well. So let me start with the Tasmania general skill migration. Okay, so obviously you must have heard there has been a lot of media, or there has been a lot of social media activities around general skill migration in Tasmania, especially around 489 regional general skill migration. But before that, I just want to take you through the process of what's the general skill migration first of all, and why Tasmania is one of the ideal option for any person studying in Australia or overseas to consider Tasmania as one of your destination for general skill migration. Now, let me take you through the general skill migration process. So obviously there's three types of visa subclasses. One's 190. Another one's 189, which is independent, and 489, which is the regional visa. Obviously, with Tasmania, what we're looking at this point is 190, which is the state sponsorship, or 489, which is the regional sponsorship. Okay, so in Tasmania, so why Tasmania is getting so famous, and why there has been a lot of social media activities around Tasmania lately, I'll take you through that process and see if it fits into that criteria, so that you can consider Tasmania as your destination for general skill migration. Now, first of all, there's in terms of state or regional, there's only two subclasses, as I said, 190 and 489. For 190 visa subclass for Tasmania, there is three ways you can migrate to Tasmania. So the first one is obviously if you're a graduate from Tasmania, so you have to actually finish your course from Tasmanian Institute, and your course has to be CRICOS registered, and your course has to be at least 46 weeks. Okay. And in that stream, if you have been studying in Tasmania for 46 weeks and your course is registered in Tasmania, then obviously you can apply for the invitation in Tasmanian government. And then if you get the invitation, then obviously you can apply for the visa after that. Now, the second stream for 190 visa Tasmania is the family stream. So if you have your family living in Tasmania, if they're willing to sponsor you as your family, then that's another way to migrate to Tasmania as well. Now, in terms of family, it can be your parents, your child, your siblings, your uncle, your auntie, your first cousin, or grandparents. So these are the ones that they have to live in Tasmania, and they have to invite you, that they can look after you, and they have to sponsor you as a family for you to migrate to Tasmania in 190 visa. Now, the third most popular one is 190 visa job offer. So if you have a formal job offer that is based in Tasmania, and it is in line with your skill assessment. So whatever the skill assessment in CSOL, you can go and check on the CSOL, and if your occupation is in the CSOL and you have a job offer based in Tasmania, and it's in line with your skill assessment. So don't get confused to yourself. Your job has to be in line for 190, so it has to be according to your occupation that you have been assessed for. And I'll take you through 489 visa, which does not require your job to be relevant to your occupation. So I'll take you through that process in a minute. But for 190, if you have a formal job offer, obviously the job has to be 35 hours, which is full-time hours. Now, don't get confused to yourself. It doesn't have to be full-time in one particular employer. So it can be part-time work, and you could do 20 hours in one place, and you can do another 15 hours somewhere else. If you combine those hours, and if it's 35 hours, that should be fine. So if you have job offer from Tasmania, that's another way to do general skill migration on 190 visa subclass. Okay. So now the most important part is 489, which is the regional migration in Tasmania. This is the popular one. This is what everyone's talking about in social media lately. So the 3 stream, once again, it's the same thing. The first one is if you're a graduate in Tasmania, and obviously 46 weeks and all of that, that's one option. So option 2 is obviously your family members, which I just mentioned. It's the same thing as 190. Now the third thing is the job offer. So now the biggest difference with 190 and 489 is for 489, your job offer doesn't has to be relevant to your occupation. So it could be any job based in Tasmania, and if they give you a job offer, then you can demonstrate that while you're putting invitation with Tasmania, when you're putting a general skill migration with Tasmania, if you can demonstrate that you've been offered a job with the offer letter, or some sort of employment letter or contract to say that you have been formally appointed or you have been formally offered a job in Tasmania, now this will be the way to go. So now this is a fantastic opportunity for those ones who's only got 55 points after the completion of their study in Australia, or those ones who are still waiting, such as accounting, waiting for them to optimize their points, to maximize their points up to 70, and they have been constantly failing to score extra additional points. Now this is another opportunity to consider Tasmania as your destination to do the general skill migration. So I strongly suggest that if you're actively looking for a job in Tasmania, come and see us. If you have a job offer letter, or if you want us to help you out in terms of job offer letter, please do contact us and we'll help you out in terms of getting that extra points for regional skill migration, and surely you'll be able to apply for 489 visa even if you have 55 points while staying in Sydney or New South Wales or any other state. That this is a fantastic opportunity for you to migrate to Tasmania. Now that's the Tasmania part, which is the general skill migration, which I just covered it off. Now the second biggest topic in last week is we all heard about that 5 years Australian visa that's been offered to our aged parents. Now finally the Turnbull government, coalition government, has now agreed to introduce the temporary sponsored parents visa, allowing our parents to stay in Australia up to 5 years. Now this was one of the key points for the coalition government to win the election, and obviously to keep up the word, the guys have now get the ball rolling. So obviously in the media release that we had last Friday, so they have actually announced that they will definitely bring up this long temporary parent stay visa. So this will be the fantastic news for all of the migrants. They have been permanently staying in Australia or citizen and wish to bring their parents in Australia. This is the fantastic opportunity. Now obviously don't get too excited. The timeline is obviously, it's not going to be like a quick process. Obviously at this point the government is going through the community consulting, so that means what they're doing is they're getting a feedback from the community saying how we should structure the visa, so how we should design the visa. So obviously we have to keep in mind that whoever's participating in this feedback process or consulting process, that we all should be vocal about fairness in terms of age versus not age. So at this point it looks like this visa will be only introduced to the aged parents. So when we say aged parents in Australia, we have to think about what is the pension age for anyone. So anyone who is above that pension age is considered as an aged parents visa. Now, having said that, you still have the option of applying contributory parents visa. Obviously, that means it costs you a lot more money, roughly about $43,000 per person. Otherwise, there's a still option to stay in the queue. I think it costs you about somewhere around $7,000, but then the queue is extensive. You will be waiting up to 30 years, so very long wait. Those visa options are still available, but having said that, this new 5 years temporary long stay visa for parents will give them the child in Australia a bit of opportunity to live with their parents, and that's the whole idea from the government as well, to reunite the family. And it plays a vital role to have your family members together to boost the society and everything like that. So it's a fantastic news for all the migrants who wish to bring their parents rather than sitting in the queue for 30 years. This is a good opportunity for any migrants to invite their parents in Australia. However, though, there's a cost involved, so which hasn't been defined yet, but I'm certain to say that obviously your parents' medical health cover, the sponsor has to cover that, as well as now the other thing is they might have to produce the financial guarantee to show that the child can support their parents up to 5 years. So there might be some assurance of support. Now that is usually defined by welfare and community the human services. Now there's still logistics side hasn't been implemented yet, but then the good thing is that definitely the visa is coming. It's just a matter of time, and also just allowing government to make that correct decision after their consultation with the community services and the community itself. Those two are the main topics that I wanted to cover today, so that's fantastic news. Now, if you have any questions, or if you worried about your visa extension, student visa, 457 ENS, partner visa, tourist visa, anything like that, or any education services, please feel free to contact us on 02 9007 4409. Or you can visit us in our office, which is located at 99 York Street, Suite 4, Level 9. Or visit us in our Facebook account, which is Professional Visa and Education Services, or email address info@provisa.com.au. Well, thanks for watching. I'll be back next week with more updates. Thank you. Bye-bye.